Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. Got a great show for you today. Here we're going to take a look at a couple of shows that are coming up here in the summer and early fall. We're going to take a look at the PlayStation Vue and the services that offers, as well as I want to let you all know about one of the better shows of the last few years, ESPN's 30 for 30. Stick around, you don't want to miss it.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Good day, everybody. This is Drew. I'm your host here on the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. Going to get into a few interesting things here on the show. I want to start off taking a look at a little tiny bit of the schedule coming up here in the summer and fall. Taking a look at a couple of things that I'm interested in, but mostly things that I'm kind of annoyed or upset about. A lot of the shows are going to be coming back here in the fall. Shameless, there on Showtime, starring William H. Macy, one of my favorite actors. That's coming back. Some shows aren't going to be making it. Halle Berry's Extant, I was enjoying that show and involving a bacterial invasion of Earth. We got Netflix coming out, the Luke Cage series. Super excited about that one. Integrating it with Daredevil, Jessica Jones. They're going to bring in Iron Fist. They're going to make Defenders. That's going to be super awesome. It's going to be one of those series that are just as good. Luke Cage, one of the highly underrated characters of Marvel. But that's what they do with these Netflix shows. They take characters that weren't really getting too much play, not a lot of popularity, and they bring them in and make it enthralling. So Luke Cage is coming. I mostly want to focus here and follow me on this and see if this rings any bells. Disney has a show coming out called Adventures of Babysitting. And one of the networks, I can't remember if it was ABC or CBS, but it might be ABC or, that affiliate with Disney, coming out with this show. Again, just if it might ring a bell, Uncle Buck. Adventures of Babysitting and Uncle Buck are coming out as television shows. Is it the 1980s again? Is it? I mean, please tell me if I'm wrong. I just want to know. Just let me know. Email us or Mark. Is this the 80s? Adventures of Babysitting, Uncle Buck. Oh, by the way, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are still around. They're probably gonna relaunch something. There'll probably be a Breakfast Club miniseries in span of time here. What is going on? Are we completely lost? And I don't care. Disney can do whatever. Disney's printing their own money. Whatever. Adventures of Babysitting. It's obviously going to be nothing like the Elizabeth Shue classic. She's still hot, by the way. She's held up very well throughout time. But the Uncle Buck one annoys me. And just at the onset of reading that they were going to make an Uncle Buck show, that annoyed me. Just that. Now, if I would have gone on here and just railed about, how good they do this, blah, 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 and then not have known one of the things about it, I would have come off sounding really bigoted. Now, I looked a little bit further into the show. The cast that they've replaced concerning the old John Candy movie, it's an African-American cast. I have zero issue with that. My issue is that they're doing Uncle Buck and that they're trying to relate it or make it anything related to the old movie, because I loved Uncle Buck. And it's one of the, and it's in the top 3 as far as John Hughes. For me, it's Ferris Bueller, obviously. Number 2, which they did a Ferris Bueller's TV show as well. That's actually where Rachel from Friends, that's where Jennifer Aniston got her start, was on the Ferris Bueller show. But they did that, and now they're doing Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck's number 2, and that's to me. It's Ferris Bueller, Uncle Buck, then Breakfast Club, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But for a lot of people, Uncle Buck's like their favorite. Macaulay Culkin, Gabby Hoffman, classic John Candy. It's one of the best ones John Hughes made, and now they're turning it into. This year, again, I do not mind. I do the fact that they are replacing. I think it's Omar Epps. Who is it? Who is this? Might be Mike Epps. That they're making Uncle Buck. I don't care about that. I don't care about the. I don't know if there is a verb for change it. I don't care. It's Uncle Buck. Just stay away from it. Just come up with something different. Why do you have to incite the name and incite the film, which is obviously going to be unrelated to the show, for the sake of selling some new family comedy? Well, why do you have to do that? But again, I'm one of those. I'm one of those that rail about those kind of things. I didn't like the news about the Ghostbusters remake. Don't care if they're women. The fact that they were doing it with women, I did not care about. I just didn't like the choices of who they had to play them. And I didn't think that Paul Feig's humor would go with it, because I love the old one and revere the old one the way it is. But I'll probably check the new one out. I'll probably see what it's all about. I'm going to try to have an open mind about it, and that's just one of those things that comes back to, is that they're not they want it no, we want to have the essence of something but not make it that. And for television, obviously, it's going to have to be different. This is going to have to be, Uncle Buck is either going to have to be living with the family or be that reoccurring thing. I don't know how well it's going to play out, evolving that one movie from 30 years ago into a full-on sitcom. Other than in name only, it's just going to be in name only, I assume. So that really annoys me. That just bothers me. But I'm not going to watch it. I don't really watch network TV much anyway, as much anymore, especially sitcoms. And I thought Big Bang Theory kind of jumped the shark, but I was watching How I Met Your Mother for a long time. But we'll see how this one goes. But Adventures of Babysitting, Uncle Buck, coming out in 2016. No, dude, nope. Don't adjust your dials. Don't check the clock there. It's not the 1980s. It's now. And like I said, we got Luke Cage coming on. That's cool. A lot of the premium channel ones. We're also going to get a new Sharknado. I don't know if you guys knew about that, but Sharknado's coming down the pipe. Sharknado 4. And Shameless coming up. Orange is the New Black. Also, there's going to be a lot. I'm excited for new Vikings as well. Some good shows are staying on. Some bad ones. It looks like Castle's off the air. Hopefully that can lead to maybe some Firefly sequel. Maybe a little bit. Bring back Firefly. #Bring back Firefly. But outside of that, so it looks like a pretty strong for premium channels. So like Showtime, HBO, and then obviously Netflix. They got some good stuff coming up here in the summer. Not so much the networks try to keep it towards like the fall and into the winter, springtime, just to try to offset that. Also, new South Park's coming. I believe July or August. So I'm a huge fan of South Park. I think they're only getting better as far as the commentary. I love last season. Sopa. I think they haven't lost it. A lot of people think that they're done for, that they haven't been funny in a while. You know what? They don't got to watch. I don't care. I'm still enjoying it, and so are a lot. And South Park's a great show because you can watch that on the internet too. Usually the day after it airs. So they were one of those like, hey, we want to get our content full episodes, not just clips. They wanted to get full episodes there up and running. So it's going to be a pretty cool summer and fall schedule when those shows obviously get started and get running through the stuff that I'm watching. I'll be more than happy to come in and gossip about and talk about. So excited for that. Flashback to the 1980s there. Don't know. They could probably run the babysitting one for a couple seasons. I honestly wouldn't see a show like Uncle Buck lasting too long. If for nothing else, people are just going to be like, hey, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And, just the sitcoms aren't lasting long these days. So you really got to have a breakout, something different, something new. And you got to you either got to find a niche market. You can't just do basic generic family sitcom anymore. They're a dime a dozen. So you got to find something original, find something new if you want to keep running. At least that's what I've seen over the last 5 years. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the ones that stand out are because they're different. And it's not just the same old, it's not the same old family gags and stuff like that. So we'll find out. I mean, Full House is back, so who knows? All right, you are listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Television Podcast. We will be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the GSMC Television Podcast. Want to get into a little bit. On last week's show, we did talk about the Roku box, and there's also the Roku stick, which you can plug directly into your television. Just looking over some different options as far as cutting the cord, breaking away from cable or satellite. And this week, I want to shine on one that is pretty cool that I'm really just learning a lot more about. It's called PlayStation Vue. So PlayStation has decided to get their skin in the game as far as being a content provider outside of the PlayStation Network. So the selling point of PlayStation Vue is it's one monthly price, period, with no contracts, and they offer you streaming of live television of channels. So it is a content provider, strictly internet based, that has a subscription with it, okay? But the selling point is it's going to be one price. It's not like a 2-year contract you might get with something like Comcast or Cox, where it's going to be one price for a year and then it will go up. Now, obviously, the fine print of all of these that are based in subscription is prices are subject to change. Netflix has gone up since I've had a subscription. It's going to go up again here in the near future. So it may say, hey, it's the same price every month. Yeah, it will be until they decide to go up. But right now, they are offering, there are 3 packages. There is the Access Slim, Core Slim, and then the Elite Slim. So these packages are starting at $29.99 a month, gets you a little over 55 channels, okay? And then the Core Slim package is 70 plus channels. It's about $34.99. And then their highest end, 100 plus channels for $45 a month. So if you got that, it could even out with your internet bill, depending. Could be still saving you some money there. But the channels aren't, they're not nobody channels. With these particular packages, you can get AMC. That's been one of the bigger really just focal points of good television here for the past several years. It's got Animal Planet, It's got all kinds of, it's got Bravo, it's got Cartoon Network, all the different forms of NBC, including the NBC Sports Network that they just got out there. It's got Comedy Central. It's got Disney XD for the kiddos, Disney Junior. You can get Epix, which is its own subscription. They do have Showtime and Epix that are involved there. You can get for some extra. They got ESPN. That's the bigger one. ESPN 2, looks like ESPN 3 and ESPNU as well, their college network. It's got Food Network. It's got Esquire. It's got, looks like Fox College Sports is on there. You may not be able to get the regular one. But with NBC Sports Network and ESPN, you can still watch a good deal of NFL when it comes down to that time of the year. I know I'm looking forward to it. FX, FXX, HGTV, Headline News, IFC's on there, MTV if you're still watching that garbage. It's got a bunch. TLC USA is on there as well. They've been putting out some really good shows here in the last few years. It's got Sci-Fi and TBS, Spike. So again, it's no slouch when it says, hey, we got streaming channels of live television and you're just going to be, subjected to a channel that just shows bird noises all day. No, you are going to get a bigger span of actual networks, watchable networks that you would otherwise be trying to catch up with on, either Amazon or Netflix. So you can get those packages. So if you go on to PlayStation Vue, you can check out the packages and see what channels that they're including with it. Okay. And it's pretty cool. The idea of it seems pretty interesting. When I first saw it, I was like, cool, no contracts, plus streaming live TV, plus, especially when it comes to, watching sports, plus the one thing I had to ask was, so if it's PlayStation, does that mean I need to have a PlayStation product, i.e. PS3 or PS4, in order to get access to this? No, you don't. Okay? It works with a PlayStation 4, and it works with a PlayStation 3 even, if you have access, because that's where they get you the that PlayStation Network cloud content was really developed first on the PlayStation 3. But if you have an Amazon Fire TV, the Fire Stick, if you have, let's see what else they offer it on. If you have Chromecast, you can get it on your iPad or your iPhone. It's a subscription base, but an app that you get into. It's an application that holds the ability to stream through those particular things. So you don't have to have a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 3 to get it. So you don't got to throw down the $350 that it takes to get a PlayStation 4 just to get access to this. You can get it, and I imagine because it's Sony, they will try to have, they work with Chromecast, so if you don't have that, then they might be able to get it on an Android system soon enough. But right now on iPad or iPhone, you can get the PlayStation Vue, get the subscription, and be able to stream the live television from your phone or from your iPad or on your TV if you have that particular if you have the media that's compatible. So Amazon Fire TV and Fire TV Stick, Chromecast, iPad, iPhone, PS4, and PS3. And then if you have the media remote for your PS4, it works with that as well. So they are putting some interesting stuff on there. So PlayStation trying to get into it. They're I don't want to know why. I don't really care for the why. I'm just glad that they're giving that an option, that Sony's trying to get into that as well. And some of these channels are pretty sweet. And the idea of only just paying $20 a month to get ESPN, as well as NBC Sports Network or AMC and a lot of stuff. So this might compete with something like Sling TV. We're going to go into that here on another show. But be able to get those channels starting at, just a little over $20 a month. TNT USA, TLC, Spike, all the Nick channels and Disney channels there for the kids. This could be a pretty good competitor. It's got Freeform on it, so my wife can watch all of her bad shows. Esquire, they run some pretty good movies out there. CNN. So, it's no slouch as far as the content's going to go. It's no contract. It's just a monthly subscription, a la, how Netflix is as well. No obligations. This is something worth trying. So if you have one of those devices, there's already millions of homes that already have a PlayStation 3 or 4. And I'm actually looking to get a PlayStation 4 because I want to get back into playing some games. But this is just icing on the cake. As well as smartly marketed towards the Apple users, obviously millions of iPhone users and a lot of those that have iPads as well. To be able to get that, it's a great day and age where we can be able to get that. All you need is an internet connection. It's on the go. You could be watching live TV, just sitting there with your app on the go, sitting on a bus or in a train or waiting at the airport where all they do is just play news, which nobody cares about. Like, put on something interesting. Like, who cares about the Twitter feed at the bottom of the screen? Like, who cares? Who cares what Bob Marley 420 has to say about the elections? Like, nobody cares. So you can sit there and watch that on your own device there. This is the future, folks. This is where it's heading. So right now we've got down the Roku box, which offers you a lot of streaming services as well. This one, PlayStation Vue, it is an application like so many others, but offers you the choice with those packages, fully licensed, unscrambled. You're not having to jailbreak anything on this. Pretty decent price just for streaming live TV. So glad a lot of these networks and a lot of these channels are getting on board with this, as long as you can get the content out there. If you get the content out there to help reduce pirating, that's really why they're doing a lot of these, to avoid that. Hey, no, I know you don't want to deal with Comcast. I know you don't want to deal with Time Warner or all these other guys. Hey, we're on your side. PlayStation is really one of those companies that listens to a lot of the folks that are into their product, a lot of the gamers. PlayStation listens to them. So I think they're following a lot of this. This is really their key demographic. And even if you're not a big gamer or don't have the PlayStation in order to do this, you still have an avenue that you can get onto the PlayStation Vue, because all you need is your iPhone or your iPad as well. So incredibly brilliant. I might actually check this out after I convince my wife to let me buy a PlayStation 4. So, all right. So that concludes this segment. We got one more segment coming up. I'm very excited to talk about it. You're listening to the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back. Good stuff, good stuff. Now, I wanted to talk to you a bit about a show that I have been watching for quite a few years now, and it's one that you may not think about as far as stirring television, mostly because it's shot in really sort of a documentary format, and that is ESPN's own 30 for 30. Now, some of you may be moaning right now, oh, this is supposed to be on TV and you're just going to talk about sports. It's not sports that I'm wanting to highlight as the important part of the show. The show itself, it started out, was supposed to be 30 films by 30 filmmakers that were going to talk about sports and how they related to certain points in time in America. So there was one revolving the OJ chase and that specific day, what was going on, and they used sports to talk about the framework of really America in itself. And even if you're not into sports, a lot of the history of America and what we look for and what we pride ourselves on still has a lot to do with sports. And 30 for 30 It's great history. And that's really what this is. It's not about predicting anything or doing anything else. It is a look at a moment in time and, asking questions of what might have been. It's the series famously known for the guy coming over. He goes, "What if I told you?" And then there's the, whatever the description is. It's usually always some flip-flopper phrase. The show's been on for well over a decade now, and I was watching episodes like Jimmy the Greek. I had no actual desire, I had no knowledge of it or interest in whoever that was, what they were involved, like anything about it. But you can sit down and you can watch it, and it's still enthralling. There are obviously ones that I was very into. The one about the USFL is fantastic. It's called Small Potatoes. What happened to the USFL? For those of you that don't know, the younger audience out there that may be listening, there was at one time, you may remember the XFL. They tried to compete with the NFL, but before that, there was the USFL, the United States Football League, and presidential hopeful Donald Trump wasn't able to own a football team, so he bought one of those teams, and he sued them. He basically came in and kind of ruined a whole bunch of stuff. But there are a lot of current Hall of Famers that started out in the USFL. Reggie White started in the USFL. Steve Young started in the USFL. Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas. Those guys started out going in a different draft. And it's weird to think about nowadays that there would be another league's draft to possibly go up against the titan that is the NFL. But there was, and that existed. And it was a really cool, really interesting, again, documentary style episode of that show. Another great one about Bo Jackson, Bo knows. And you had to love, this is a repeat watcher. This is about the legend of Bo Jackson. And he was active, especially in football, for such a short amount of time that to be able to go back and relive the mania that surrounded Bo Jackson and everything that was around it, that was a really good episode too. Of course, they do ones. Winning Time was another great one that featured Reggie Miller in one of the classic showdowns that they had with the New York Knicks in the 90s. Really a classic era of basketball, of him winning that game, shooting like 8 points in 8 seconds. It was unreal. They make really good shows. The one that just came out here recently, and I was impressed that they were able to air it on ESPN and then get it to Netflix just a couple days later. They wasn't waiting for that season to be over. They wanted to put it out there and then put it on another format so they can get more viewers and everything. But that one was about the Orlando Magic of the 90s, when Shaq came on the scene, when Penny Hardaway came on the scene. And it was a great blast from the past. And I was a kid when the Magic was big. I was big with Shaquille O'Neal. I had the shoes. I was a big Shaq fan. I played Shaq Fu. I watched Kazam and Steel. Like, I was big into Shaq. And even Blue Chips, I watched that movie too, although it was like way too adult for me, and Nick Nolte's is crazy, but it's kind of based off Bob Knight, and my dad is a fan of Bob Knight, so watch that one too. Also had Penny Hardaway in that movie. So I was a fan, but I wasn't really cognizant of the drama surrounding the endorsements and the contracts and trying to re-sign Shaq and trying to get this team to stay together, because they ultimately were getting beaten out by more experienced teams like the Bulls when MJ came back and was just destroying everybody. The documentaries, it really kind of gives you a wistful, poignant moment when you have Penny and you have Shaq talking about how they wish they could have stayed on the same team because they wanted to win in Orlando. And that may all be for naught. I mean, Shaq has no reason to placate anybody's feelings. Shaq's a gazillionaire. He's a Hall of Famer. He's won a bunch of championships. Just happened to do it elsewhere in L.A. and Miami. But it makes it seem like his heart was in Orlando, although there were plenty of sequences that you can watch where it shows him at the time, him really just trying to get paid, him really having wanted to go to LA previously, and a bit of double talk there. So that was one of the most recent ones that comes out. And this series, I mean, it's not like every week, type of thing. It's almost like, oh, there's a new 30 for 30 that's going to be coming on. But I highly recommend that if you are a sports fan, to watch the show. And if you're not a sports fan but want to see drama in what happened in real life, like real life occurrences, and really the best part about it, in my opinion, is I love when documentaries are made about sports figures, or documentaries are made about celebrities in really any light, that are going to bring them to a level where they can be kind of vulnerable, and you may laugh at them and be like, wow, but you're a millionaire. But it helps remind you these people are humans, and some may seem superhuman, like Shaq's a freak, and guys like Bo Jackson, like he's a freak, but these are people, and they're not figures to be worshipped like gods. You can enjoy watching them do what they do. You can enjoy watching these people play a sport. You can enjoy watching them act in movies. You can enjoy watching them play the guitar, play the drums, or sing songs. Enjoy those. But there's no need for worship, because they're not gods or even demigods. They're people. And you can view them as people. They just happen to have some kind of skill or some type of luck or some type of whatever, or physical attribute that's made them a lot of money and put them on television a lot. But they're still people. And you get to view them as that. You get to view their imperfections. Although in the back of your mind you think like, well, I know they're people and they have imperfections. No, you don't. You want to believe like, oh yeah, they're just like me, and some of them really aren't, and some of them really are. Some of them are way more messed up than you'll ever be, and you can know and think about those, but you never really embrace it. And these ask you to embrace those moments in time, and you get to take a look at how people are now, and what they've attempted to be or tried to become since then, and see them, kind of for the person for who they are. And they may not always be sympathetic. You may walk out with a lower opinion of them, but at least it gets you from feeling that that a life, even as blessed as theirs, is so much better than yours. Because it may not be. You may not have the millions and millions of dollars that Shaquille O'Neal may have, but if you have people in your life that can view you as loyal, and you would never turn your back on that, regardless of how much you may be able to make somewhere else, there's a value in that. There is. So, he's happy with his millions of dollars, I'm sure, but he kind of admit like, hey, I kind of wanted to stay in this place and be true to you guys, and that turns out to be more important. So, check out the series. It's great. And even from a non-sports, just a historical standpoint, it's a fine program. And they got many more to come. They are putting out constant quality episode after episode. Well, all right, everybody, I've had a lot of fun talking with you here today. You can go ahead and download this. Give us your feedback. Follow us on Facebook and or Twitter. You can check us out on gsmcpodcast.com. or download us on iTunes, where you'll not only find this show, but all of our other fine programs that we offer here. Look forward to tuning in with you next week. Thank you very much for listening, and this concludes your broadcast day.